Hi there, this is Sags War on Women, brought to you courtesy of WrongThinkRadio.com. Mansplaining. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about mansplaining. In fact, we're going to talk about mansplaining over the next couple of days because I got a lot of ground to cover here, and I don't do long form talks. Before I get into this topic, I've got to say one thing. Mansplaining does not fucking exist, okay? It doesn't exist. It's people sometimes just talk to people a certain way because they're reacting. It's that simple. They are reacting. They may come off as rude or condescending or overbearing, but most of the time there's a reason for that. That reason just so happens to be women, and women don't want to hear that, so they'll just, label men as these evil mansplaining creatures who talk to them poorly because, well, that's just what men do. I'm hoping to shed some light on mansplaining, but in order to do so, we have to go to make-believe land and pretend this is really a thing, so I can touch on this subject that, again, I don't believe exists, to help women realize why men talk to them the way that they do. Because, you see, mansplaining isn't a thing, ladies. It's the things that you do that cause men to talk like that. Today we're going to touch on questions, because a lot of women bitch and complain that men are condescending when they answer women's questions. Okay, let's go through a few reasons why that might be. First off, women ask stupid fucking questions. Okay? They do. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying, oh, no, there's no such thing as a stupid question. That's great if you're telling that to your children, because we want to encourage children to ask questions. Problem is, this is an adult show. Okay? Hence all the bad words. And since we're fucking grown-ups here, we are going to finally admit, once and for all, that there are tons, and I mean tons, of stupid questions floating around there. In fact, of all the stupid questions that float around, one stands out to me, and this is one that women love to ask. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Okay, ladies, well, if you ask a man what he's thinking about, he can't win. He cannot win. There's no way he can answer that question that will make you happy. If he says nothing, he's lying, in your opinion. He's a fucking liar. And why is that? Because you can't sit around and think about nothing. Therefore, it's got to be impossible for him to be able to do it, right? Wrong. Men can sit around and think about nothing all the time. And they do it all the time. A lot of women do it too. Just because you can't doesn't mean somebody else can't. I don't know why women can't figure this out. Now, if he answers nothing, he's lying, because again, he's not there thinking about nothing. He's probably, in your opinion, thinking about other women. Thinking about other women. See, that's the problem. You're insecure, and now he's a liar. Another problem is if he does answer something, answer the question with something, he's an asshole. And why is that? If he tells you he's thinking about his job, work, a video game, the dog, whatever, if it's not you, he's an asshole, because God forbid a man think about anything other than the woman who's asking him what he's thinking about at that very moment. They can't win with this, ladies. That's why when you ask this question 10 times in 3 minutes, they tend to get a little bit fucking condescending with their answers. Now you know. Maybe stop asking that question. I do have to touch on this, though. As a woman, I think I figured out why women ask this question. And I also can tell you, being that I'm a woman and women cannot womansplain, because that's not a thing, right, ladies? I'm going to tell you why it is I don't like that question. When a woman asks me what I'm thinking about, she's doing it for one of two reasons. The first reason is she either expects me to be talking to her, which in my opinion means entertaining her because she doesn't like the silence, or two, she wants to be talking to me, and that's because she feels that she needs to entertain me because she doesn't like the silence. Basically, what it boils down to is women don't like silence. They don't. They cannot stand it. It makes them uncomfortable, and they have to interrupt it at every single opportunity. That's why they ask that question. Now, this is my honest reason as to why I don't like that question. The only way I can honestly tell you this is just to answer the question. If a woman asks me what I'm thinking about, I answer like this. Something that I feel is of no importance to you. Now, it's not that I feel you are not important. I feel that what I am thinking about is not something that you would be interested in. It's that simple, okay? That is why they're not talking to you, because they don't think they need to share with you what they're thinking about. At that moment, I could be thinking about if two flies are flying around and they're fucking and they're flying at the same time, which one's flapping its wings? Is that a conversation that you really want to have with a person? Of course it isn't. When people are being quiet, they're being selfless. They're not bringing you into their world because their world might be filled with stupid shit that you don't care about. So maybe appreciate it instead of trying to pull it out of them, and you won't get condescending answers, again, when you ask that same question every 2 seconds. Now, let's go on to the ways that women ask questions, because this is a problem too. If you want to explain to a woman how a toaster works and you're a man, you can't win. You cannot win. And why is that? Too many questions. If a woman says, how does a toaster work? And a man says, well, the coils, as soon as he gets to that part, she's going to say, what are the coils? And he's going to say, well, the coils, well, what do they do? What do they look like? How do you make them? What are they made out of? Are they part of the electrical component? Why is electricity plugged into the wall, like an electrical outlet plugged into a wall versus the ceiling? What is electricity? Who invented electricity? Like, these are the kinds of ways that women ask questions. Men put questions in order and they answer them in order, ladies, and it's not because they can't multitask. They can multitask quite well. They're very direct and they're efficient when they answer questions. If you would be efficient in the way you asked questions, you wouldn't have somebody getting a little irritated because you're interrupting them every 10 seconds with more questions when they're still trying to figure out how to answer the first one, so you'll stop asking questions. I find this rather funny too, because women always claim to be the fucking be-all, end-all of multitasking. They think they can multitask so much better than men. That is not true. That is not true. But that being said, with that reasoning, you would think since men are incapable of multitasking, this is what a lot of women believe. Why would you ask a man a bunch of questions at once, ladies? Apparently he's too fucking stupid to answer them all, right? Because his brain can only do one thing at a time. Remember, men can't multitask. They can. They just choose not to because they're efficient. Yet you keep asking stupid questions. This is why men answer questions in a condescending tone. Let's talk about romantic relationships, because this is another reason why men not only may answer condescending, but get real fucking pissed at these lines of questions. Excuse me. Women ask questions that they don't want the actual answer to, and that's the truth. They want honesty until a man's honest. They'll ask him a question about his past, and he'll answer honestly, because that's what you want, ladies. And if he's a good man and he respects himself, he's not going to change his answer. He's going to stand strong and continue answering the question, no matter how many times you try to reword it to get the answer that will not only make you pleased, but happy, okay? Because, see, getting an answer that you accept is not good enough for a lot of women. No, a lot of you want the answer that's going to make you feel happy. So in order to do so, you've got to ask the same question a bunch of different ways until you get the answer you want. Again, if he's a self-respecting man, he's going to stand his ground. He's going to continue to give you the honest answer because that's what you said you wanted. He's not going to back down. He is, however, going to get condescending and pretty fucking pissed off. So maybe think about that the next time you decide to ask questions like this. Again, women. Women. And that's it for questions. Those are some of the questions that women ask, or the ways that women ask questions, or the ways that women try to manipulate answers for questions that they don't like the answer to, that cause men to mansplain. So ladies, if a man is talking to you like that, or better yet, answering your questions in a condescending tone, you have no one to blame but yourselves. And that's that. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. If you want more hard-hitting content from the right side of things, check out wrongthinkradio.com. I'm Sag Novotny, and this is my war on women.